want to start with welcoming everyone, both here and online as well on the web. It's great to see that it's been such a big interest for this meeting. I'm Emily Falk, and I'm the program manager, and this is Ciro. He's director of the program international department, and I'm from the health department, and we'll work with this planned call. So this meeting is about the call that we're planning to have together with MOST, the Ministry of Science and Technology in China. And they are visiting Sweden in end of this month, which is why we're having this meeting today to get some input of you. And we wanted to check how big the interest as well is for this call. The purpose of this meeting is to get a picture of what areas within life science and health that are of interest for the Swedish industry in the scope of this call. And after today, we hope that we will have a clear picture of this, and also hope that you get a chance to network with each other, maybe find a partner. We will start today with some brief information just about Vinnova, and then we move over and talk about this planned call. And after that, we will use Mentimeter to get some input from you, and I hope you all have downloaded or saved it as starred or something, so you have easy access to it, because that's the way we use to get some interaction. And after that, we will have time as well for some questions. But we start with the first question just. And then if you log in and use Mentimeter, so we get some information about what organization you represent. And please as well, you on the web, feel free to put in your answer as well. And you use the code up in the corner to sign in.
429500.
So we get a bit of picture of who's actually here, and as well on the following online. Just keep answering and then it comes back.
429500. Good.
Looks like it's working. So 44, I think we're about 60 or something here, so it should be some more maybe, we'll see. But it looks like it's quite even spread over. The code is up in the corner, 429500. And then you can stay online there because there will be more questions later on as well. I think you can keep putting in even if we're moving on, but it's great to see that we have everyone represented. And I'll leave over to Ciro.
Thank you so much. A pleasure to be here meeting you, all friends, new friends. Really, you maybe understand that you are here not only to get information, but also to give us very important information. So the expectations from both sides. We want your information, your input is very important for us. Probably most of you know who is Vinnova. Vinnova is the funding organization for innovation, government agency. We're responsible to Ministry of Enterprise and Innovation. Mikael Dahlberg as our minister. We are around 200 people. Most of us are working here. We have 2 people working in Brussels, 1 in Silicon Valley. We have a budget of 2.9 billion Swedish crowns per year to spend in research innovation projects. That's not included our salaries, so don't worry. It's going only to you, all the money, okay? Our Director General is Dr. Charlotte Brugren. What we do, we try to put you together, to talk to each other, just to connect, to stimulate collaboration with the different actors from different sectors. That's what we believe. The innovation is created when you meet and you find something interesting that is useful for this society, and then you probably, representative for the industry, can earn money from that. We work supporting the innovation capacity building in Sweden. Yes, we have support excellence centers, we grow a special program for SMEs. We support the Eureka network program for the Swedish industry in collaboration with European industry. And we have today partners in Eureka that are not only from Europe, but also from Canada and South Korea, for example. Chile became the partner last June. And we're a national organization informing about the Horizon 2020 program. We're a national contact point for Horizon 2020. We have collaboration agreements with several countries. China, of course, first of all. We have collaboration with Brazil, Chile, United Arab Emirates, and other countries. Of course, we are the expert organization for the government. And I would say the most important thing that you need to remember that we are those that invest in research and innovation projects, where the projects should be proposed by the industry most probably. All the other representatives from the academia, the public sector are very welcome to participate, but we do want to have the industry leading the projects, getting involved with time or money or both. It's only to show you how much what the money coming from for research and development in Sweden is going to different sectors and to different actors. This huge part going directly to the Ministry of Education and Research. Most of that money is going directly to universities, but that's curiosity-driven research. And the money coming from Vinnova is just for the innovation projects where the industry says we want to do this because we see an opportunity in this area. And we work together with this university, with this institute. You see, the money is going first of all to the universities, nevertheless, but the private companies also get a good part of this money. Research institutes, public administration, and others. So please, further on I can talk more about China. You had questions about China, I can answer about them. But my colleague is the expert in the health area, so she can answer to all the questions in that area. Please.
So, for this planned call that we will have together with MOST, the aim will be to strengthen Chinese and Swedish actors' competitiveness through innovation collaboration, as well as contribute to long-term economic development in both countries. That's the main aim of this. And then the overall goal will be to increase Sweden's competitiveness within life science on the Chinese and global market through these innovation collaborations. And with this, we hope that Swedish companies, through innovation, will develop new competitive products and services, but also provide knowledge exchange. Possible areas that we have identified that are interesting, both for Sweden and China within this scope, could be individualized health, digitalization in healthcare, infection prevention, AMR, rehabilitation, dementia and other chronic illness, cancer, mental illness and staff training. And here you will be able to have some inputs later on in Mentimeter, what areas are interesting for you, because this is what we want to know as well about what you're working and that you find important. These are some ideas we have. And then, of course, we expect some results to come out of these collaborations. We do accept long-term cooperation between Swedish and Chinese actors. We also expect that the collaboration will continue after the project's end, and that this will result in products and services. And also that new companies, Swedish companies, will enter the Chinese market. And then we have a preliminary time schedule for this call. So what we're working for now is that we hope that we will be able to open in November. And if we open in November, they will be closing maybe around April next year. And then there will be a lot of assessment process, national and bilateral, between Sweden and China. And then the project will be able to start in January 2019. So quite a long gap there in between. And as it looks like now, the length of the project could be maybe approximately around 3 years. And Vinnova has a budget on around 10 millions, but that is covering the Swedish part, and then the Chinese actor, they will be covered by most. So then it's not clear how much that would be. And then the co-finance of the project will be a minimum of 50%. And this is depending on what actor we're talking about, and this is not fully decided yet, but minimum 50% per at project level is what it most of the time is. So this is like preliminary how it looks like now, but it can start later, but this is what we're working for now. So what's happening now is that most visiting in the end of this month, and then there will be negotiations, and we're gonna to work out how this call is gonna look like, topics exactly what it will be included, and then to open in November. But now the most important part for us to get some inputs from you. So if you get your phones again, then we use the Mentimeter. And we can see some people already started to move on a little bit. And then the first question we'd like to know, if any one of you already collaborated together with China, and maybe if you planned but did not work out, or if you haven't, just so we get like an idea as well about. It's great to see a lot of people have. Maybe just some of you that already worked with China, is it, what background, is it industry or you from academia? Maybe the one that have collaborated with China before that from the academia, just wanna raise their hand. And from the industry, is even more from the industry and public sector, is there anyone? Wow, great. So from all sectors. And then the next question is, then you get to fill in 3 different options, like what areas that you're interested in, like for your industry or your research, what you're working with or what you want to work with. And there you can fill in 3. If you just have 1 or 2, feel free to do that. But if you have the possibility to fill in. Do you get the question? You can type in 3 and then submit. And if you put research, maybe put what kind of research field. Because the research can, it's great if as more specific you can be with the word you're choosing is even better, because this is what we're saving down. And people putting health, maybe want to be even more specific, what type of health? Is it AMR prevention or is it, you name it. And food as well there, maybe you can be even more specific. And as well, you on the web, feel free as well to fill in. So health is definitely in the middle, but chronic disease is important, elderly care. And elderly care is in what field? The elderly care, is it an elderly home? Or is it about medications for elderly? Or is it staffing? Looks like start to slow down, maybe everyone entered.
58 already answered.
Then I think it was all. Maybe then we move on.
Yeah, thank you.
And if you already started to think about this kind of project, what if you want to collaborate, if you have in mind already what partner you for your project that you want to collaborate with. I think a lot of people already have a project maybe in mind. It's great to see that things looks like everyone already been thinking about this. And then the last question is if you already have a partner. So the other one was like what you want. Because until it opens, then you will have quite a lot of time to otherwise maybe find a partner. Perfect. That was the last question from us, and thank you so much for putting in that. It's great to see that already some have partners, and a lot of people still need to find.
Yes, thank you so much. It's very important for us, the input you gave us now. So you can see it's not only to be informed, but we wanted to be informed from you. If you have any question, you always can send a mail to my colleague or to me, or call. But maybe you can use the opportunity that you are here already, you can ask. We will try to answer all the questions you have as good we can. Hello, first question. The microphone, please.
Can we get a copy of it? The presentation.
Yes, the
Could you please put the question in
The
your
presentation, are we going to get it?
Yes, the presentation will be found online for a while afterwards now. Yes.
Thank you.
You have to have.
Is it a similar program that most have with Finland and other countries? It's kind of cooperation, I know.
Well, it's probably with Finland,
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
the most important idea here is to support the industry in both sides. Yes. So here's the industries, and we have been working with many years. But in the beginning, always have been a lot talk about just research collaboration, where we have the universities collaborating, professors between professors. Now it will be just the industry driving the projects. So it's the industry interest with the industry participation, both in China and in Sweden, that need to be the leading, driving the projects. Yes.
Thank you.
You said 10 million Swedish crown for the Swedish part, for one project, right?
No, for all projects.
For all projects. Okay.
For the whole length, we're talking about
Swedish
3
crowns,
years. 3 years, 3 years projects, up to 10 million. That's the part that Vinnova covers. But we are saying that we're covering up to 50% of the total project costs in Sweden. That means that the project portfolio will be around 20 million Swedish crowns in Sweden and around the same in China. So we're talking about project portfolio of 40 millions. But 20 millions are going from China, 20 millions from Sweden. Of these 20 millions from Sweden, 10 millions are coming from Vinnova.
Okay.
Is that understood?
That's for 3 years in total.
2-3 years before you see
Yes.
it.
Okay. So do you have an idea about how many projects you want to fund?
Well, 3 to 5.
And how do you think? How have you planned to put up the project? Is there one partner from China, one partner from Sweden, or can we be more partners, both academia and industry? Or have you
Minimum
decided?
requirement will be to have one company in Sweden and one partner in China. I don't know today what's the requirement from most, so we need to discuss with them in September, October. But I could guess that they won't also have a company in China. So at least 1 + 1.
Yeah.
But could be 2 or 3 or 4.
Yeah, so
Public
we can
sector,
be many.
universities, institutes, everybody is welcome to participate.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the applicant has to be. It doesn't matter if this person is from academia or from industry.
No, the project manager could be from industry or from university, no problem. But the company needs to participate, engineering time, hours, work.
I'm wondering the list of issues you showed under the call. Would caregiver health, caregivers who provide care to persons with dementia, would that be of a topic of interest under this call?
Sorry, again?
caregivers' health, those caregivers who provide caregiving to persons with dementia,
Yes.
for example, would that be a topic that could be of interest under this call?
It can be, but exactly what topics is not decided, and that's also we're talking about with most. That's why we wanted to get all the inputs, so we know what you want to work with, and then we can try to get like as good scope as possible that when we're talking to most.
It's a discussion, yes, where they need to get something, we need to get something. So we need to see what the areas of most interest for you. And take, maybe it's not so much money, but we have other areas to cover as well. At the same time, we aim to open a call for proposal in the area of transport, security, traffic safety. And next year, we're going to open another area. So we have the goal to have 3 years, every year, at least one call for proposals with China the following 3 years.
Do you know what areas MUST is interested in collaboration? Talking about health sector,
Yes.
or yes?
Yeah, they're interested in health, and they also are interested in the aging population. That's why we started to talk like with them already about this topic. But then that's why we wanted to get some more specific what you are interested in as well. But these areas that we have identified that we put up on the list are areas that as well have come up as interesting.
Okay.
But this will be a discussion now, but these are mentioned as interesting.
And they have mentioned these areas.
Not all,
Most.
some of them.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Some of them.
Another question. You said one of the collaborator has to be the industry.
In Sweden, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
but also you talked about that you're looking at the research areas. So, I mean, that means industry and maybe public and academia collaboration
Yes.
in Sweden. Is that feasible?
As long as you have an industry part.
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course, visible. Yes.
Regarding this income, 50%, shall we count for the whole consortium, or is only count Swedish side? For instance,
Swedish
if
side.
we have Swedish side,
Swedish
this means
side.
if we get 1 million, we have to fund 50% 1 million
Yes.
in Sweden.
Yes.
Okay. Not, I mean, we
On
can't.
the partners in Sweden need to decide where the money is going.
Okay, so we can't. I mean, Chinese people pay more income. We can't.
No, the Chinese part is for most, they decide how much to whom. So no, we are talking only about the Swedish partners in Sweden. We aim to pay 50% of the Swedish project costs in Sweden for the
Okay.
Swedish part.
Okay, that's clear. Thank you.
And this has to do with statsstödsregler, right?
Yeah, but that's the government states rules. They are telling us how big is the percent every actor is going to get. Big companies, small companies, universities, different. Yes. When we're talking about the 50%, we're talking about the project. Okay, not the individual partners in the project. About the total project.
I have been nursing 25 small entrepreneurial companies during my working life. The most important need for them is business development. Vinnova historically has only supported product development and production. In this program, will that be changed and even give room for business development?
Thank you so much for your question, because that's very important. What we do and what we don't do. We don't finance commercialization. We don't finance sell or buying. So we are not going to finance an opening an office somewhere. We are not going to finance that you have the needs to put a consulting person working for you in China. No, we don't finance that part of the business. These other organizations, Vinnova works according to the rules. We got the government rules that Vinnova needs to finance research and innovation projects. When you're talking about the commercialization, marketing and sales, well, there are other organizations like Verket, there are Almi, Business Sweden, but not we.
Is this the first time that Vinnova cooperates with China, or do you have any earlier experience about this? I'm thinking about legal issues and stuff like that, patents, these sort of things.
Very good question. Thank you so much for that question. No, not the first time. I think 4 times I've been working with China since the first collaboration we had at Vinnova with China. That was 2008. There was a call for proposals in the area of wireless technologies, and it was researchers from universities in China, researchers from our universities. So not so big legal issues. Nevertheless, of course, we have questions regarding the IPR issues as usually. So the next time we have a call for proposal with China, we put there that we strongly recommend to have a IPR agreement, a consortium agreement in place. But it's a difficulty at the same time. That's something that actors need to decide, because it's quite expensive, require resources. So you need to decide, do you need it or not? Yes, first time we required it, but it creates problem again. It's 1-2 years delayed in start the project before the project is in place. It costs some time, some costs money. Yes, now we strongly recommend to have it, but it's up to you. Yes, I know that's an important issue, but well, we cannot ignore China. We need to learn to work with China and the companies in China. So you decide. We recommend.
When you talk about research and innovation, does it have to be product-based? Because we don't, I understand you don't finance business development to sell and get cash flow, but sometimes it's important to develop new ways of working regarding collaboration, cooperation, new contract models, new types of joint ventures, concept licensing, etc.
Absolutely.
Which, is that also possible? Is that under research and innovation, new ways of thinking, or is that more viewed as business development?
We talk about usually products, services, but we maybe could add the word processes, innovative processes. Yes, it could be covered on the name innovative process. Yes, but not purely business development. Not, we don't finance that, but you are trying to get a new way to collaborate in China, a new way to sell. Maybe, yes, we need to take a look at it concretely in your project proposal.
Yes, I would like to confirm, clarify the proportion of financial support from Vinnova. Do you say that Sweden and the China side both will provide 50% of the financial support, and Vinnova provide among the 50% of Swedish side, you provide another half?
No, what I am saying is only about Sweden. I'm not saying anything about most and China, because it's not decided yet. We need to have discussions and MOU before we open the call. Yes, I'm saying that in Sweden, we aim today to finance up to 50% of the total Swedish project cost.
Yes, the following question is that where do the other half come from in Sweden?
Usually comes partly from the industry that's interested. That's the reason we mentioned the industry should be interested in what you do. If they are interested, they could provide resources, not only money, but mostly the engineering time, hours, in kind. Yes, they need to show they're interested. The form to show if you are interested is commit your resources, money. Yes.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I think it might be me next. Going back to the legal questions, in your experience in the past, where have legal agreements been sort of based in terms of which court would be responsible for any issues? Is it in China, or is it Sweden, or is it Germany, for example?
Well, that's a very good question, because it depends. It's not only one, but of course the Chinese past want to have the Chinese. But many times we use Hong Kong. I worked for Ericsson before. We used to use Hong Kong because English law. But it's up to them, yes, really. And yeah, it's up to them.
Second part of my question, is Vinnova able to give any help or advice when it comes to legal issues for the projects that would get funded from Vinnova?
Well, we support them, but it should be in the application already that you need to have needs of consulting in some area. Yes, that need to be there, a part integral of your application, and part of them you can provide support.
So that would mean that one would be able to use Vinnova money to pay for consulting fees for legal issues before the project starts?
If you put that in your application. So you cannot come to with those requirements after you got the approval of your project. When you leave a project application to Vinnova, you need to put down the cost structure is 100 hours engineers, 100 hours there, 1 million for the material costs, and there can be the legal issues. That need to specify it in your application.
Okay.
Then can you use?
So just to be clear then, the first work, if you like, of the project funded by Vinnova and most would be to sort out a consortium agreement or a legal agreement that everybody is okay with?
Probably yes.
Would
That's
that
the
be all right?
experience is that usually they stay. First they build up the consortium. Yes. Who is going to do the what? So that's the first part. You have a project manager that decides how many hours is going to work with this or the other thing. And then you discover, oh, it can be interesting also to have this consortium agreement in place as soon as possible if you decide to do it. Yes. So second or third. But first, project application, what are you going to do, by who, how much it will cost, and then the legal issue. Yes.
Yes, I'm from Gothenburg City, also known as Sveriges framsida. I have a couple of questions. First, is there any requirements in size of the project, like minimum requirements or how big it can be? I also have a question about the finances. For example, if we make cooperation with the industry, can we, for example, pay for some of the costs that perhaps Vinnova can't stand for, so we can help the industry with some of the costs for business sales and so, because I think it will be hard to attract a lot of big companies if we don't support them in that part. And lastly, if you remember all these questions, a third question is, you say based in Sweden, all these researches, but what if most of the researches or development is made in China, for example? Is it possible for us and a Swedish company to help out in place in China, for example, to learn from them, or does it have to take place in Sweden, for example?
I would start with the last, the most important. Of course, you can have consulting people working for you around the world, but it cannot be the biggest part. Yeah. We want you to put the money in the Swedish engineering resources. Yes. And you are not going to pay a part of the Swedish or the Chinese part of this project with Vinnova money. You cannot do that. You can support financially the companies if you have money with that. So you are a very popular guy from today. Everybody going to Gothenburg, they have the money. And what was the first question?
The size of the project, if there's some.
Well, we mentioned that should be 2-3 years.
Yeah.
We mentioned they want to give up to 50%.
Yeah.
And we mentioned they have
All right.
10 million, so 3-5
All
projects.
All right.
This should be the size.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm interested in the content, the medical content. Is the view from China to go for the Western medicine rather than the traditional Chinese medicine in the innovations? Because there is a lot of tradition, very valuable now, of course, focused with the Nobel Prize and all. But is there a special focus on Western medicine?
I think both. Because
you would be open for both.
Yes,
They are open for both, but this will be negotiation what we as well want. So it's not just going to be what they want, as well as Vinnova want to support.
Mm-hmm. So what are you?
That's what I think, but
yeah.
Yes, so that would be talk. But they, of course, they are open for both of that.
Interesting. Thank you.
We need to see how big is the interest in different areas. Yes? So the areas where there are the biggest interest from Sweden, that's where we were going to try to put it in the text of the call for proposals.
Okay, so I just want to continue with that lady's question. If I understand it correctly, this is a one-time investment from the Vinnova side, so we have to make everything clearly how much money we want to invest from both sides. So it's not cannot be like with the project growth, we need more investment, then we can ask more. So it's not like this. So if we need more, we have to invest from the industry, the company itself.
Well, we invest in not the whole cycle process to create a product. We don't invest in pure research when the researcher is thinking of what's going to do. We don't invest when you're to commercialize. Vinnova has a part of the role. There are a lot of investors in this world. You have the Swedish Research Council, pure research. You have the growth authority, tillväxt, verket. You have then Almi, Swedish banks, and then you have the commercial banks. So yes, we're only financing this small part, this last part of research, last part of product development, when you are going to have a demonstrator or a prototype in place. That's the part that we finance, okay? Nothing else.
Sorry, I have a second question. Do you have any statistics, like the project you have invested, how many of them has been very successful, like reached the goal and the money was enough all the way for the project? Do you supervise them or you only make investment and that's it?
Well, we have a lot of people working with statistics today. I think we're working on it. How successful we are. You can start actually with thinking that we finance up to 50% of the project costs. That means that if we put a budget of 3 billion per year, the projects are at least 6 billion per year, or 3 billion are coming from the Swedish industry. I think that's already a key success factor. Okay. How many of them are succeed? Well, I think my colleague maybe from marketing communications can tell, but there are a lot. You can get it from our website, showcases. Yes. Yes, you can see it. And if you're interested in a special area, please tell me. I will get that information for you.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
My name is Elisabeth Rotenberg from University of Kristianstad. I wonder, do you know more specifically what areas within health the Chinese people are interested in?
Not yet, because they are coming by the end of the month. We have some indications, yes, but the real contractual discussions, the memory of understanding to open this call will be held October, September. So that's the reason we hope that we can open November. But that could be really December, or worst case January, because we're discussing by mail, sending there, and they need to take to their lawyers, need to read it, so that takes time. Yes, we know that we were talking about this elderly population, digitalization. They talk about traditional medicine, but we will see. We cannot answer that question today.
No, but if we narrow to the elderly part of the population, are you aware of the problems that might be partly solved by something like we could apply for now?
Do you have an idea?
Do you want to?
Well, the healthcare problems among elderly people, that could be part of an application like this one.
Yes, that's why it's quite a broad topic. So you can fit in quite a lot, and this covers a lot. But then we need to talk to them if we need to specify it more, what they are more interested in. These are topics that we have identified that we think it's important. They all come into talking about the elderly population, but they of course covering other things as well. And they have mentioned some of these as important. So then when we're talking negotiation, that will be more decided. Exactly, more narrowed down. Or if it stay broad. We can't say that yet, depends on.
Yeah, so please send to us more information, and then you have sent by the metrics today. Tell to us what do you want, because that is the information we need from you. We need to know what do you want, how important it is for the Swedish industry, yes. How many people, companies are interested in this area, and then we can, during the negotiations with most, try to put that area in place. So that we're going to do. Try to put it in place, but we need your input.
Thank you.
Some questions about industries or how to say utbildning system, like education system. it's possible for us to get more information about the Swedish companies here and the organization here. Today we attended, so we can share some informations afterwards.
I think the participation list should be available, yes?
Yes, there should be
Open
participation
information.
lists.
Yeah, it's possible actually we get some paper for list.
Yes, they are at the reception.
Ah,
They are
okay,
listed when you
yeah,
came.
great.
So if there's...
Yeah, great.
And if you don't find them, just let me know and I fix more.
Good to have a supporter.
Yes, a very good supporter. I have a question regarding the participation from the public sector.
Yes.
And how do you see, since it's a focus on elderly care, and it's usually quite difficult to get time from healthcare or care in general, and there are also rules in how healthcare can actually support companies in developing technologies, etc. And how do you see the participation between the companies and the public sector?
Well, we look forward to that collaboration. I think the Chinese side wants to learn how we work with it in Sweden. Yes, because they have a huge population becoming older. They retire quite early. So they need to learn how to work with them. So that's a knowledge that they need, how to work with the industry to cover the needs of the population.
Yeah, but how do you see the since it's not very easy to create this collaboration even in Sweden with healthcare due to I mean, healthcare is providing care, and it's difficult to free time for things like that, and usually you need the funding in order to work with industry, and it's quite a small program for that.
Well, a part of the project could be your participation, yes. As a public organization, you have the right up to 100%.
Okay,
you can take your cost cover.
Can I just relate to the previous question about companies interested in projects in China? I come from Sweet Care Foundation, and we work with the public and private sector for companies and other actors that are interested in going abroad, basically. So I have lots of companies that are interested in China, so you can check with me.
Hopefully you will contact her. Very good support.
Maybe just stand up so everyone see who you are, so they know who to find out. Yes.
Another question regarding the participants from industry. Do you prefer SMEs or established large companies? Do you have any preference?
I love both.
Okay.
The big with money and the small that want to create something new. So probably a collaboration where both are participating.
Okay. The next question is about do you prefer some multiple disciplinary research or just single disciplinary research? For example, to solve the elderly problem, we believe you need to involve a lot of technologies and knowledge from medical part, from ICT part, from sensing technology, and even some automation technology. Do you encourage such kind of cross-domain or cross-disciplinary research?
Yes, we do.
Okay, thank you.
More questions? Otherwise, also after this, you will get a questionnaire. Marianne will send it out, and there you can also put in if you have come up with a new idea or more information that you didn't feel that you had a possibility to share here today. And also, you can always email both Sarah and me if you have anything else. Otherwise, I think we're done, is it? Thank
we need to thank you for your input for us. Thank you so much. Very valuable.
And thank you on the web.
Thank you.